Alright, I don't even know if this is considered an upset for the Wolves, because the West could go either way from 1 to 7, and as I said after Game 2, the Lakers' offense was just not convincing enough for me to say they were the clear-cut favorite. With their take-turn offense, it basically requires their big three to all have a good game at the same time, not just one or two of them, and that just never happened throughout the series, so it eventually caught up to them. It was as simple as their matchup hunting running dry, because there wasn't consistent shot or playmaking with a rock in their hands, and the only one that really showed up on the night was Rui. He made the Wolves pay for sagging off him, but other than that, there wasn't much to show for their offense, and for some reason, they all came out flat with no sense of urgency early. That was the complete opposite of what I expected, because they were in a do-or-die situation, and I commend Braun for at least getting more aggressive from the second onward, either getting downhill or making cuts to get to the rim, so he did provide some sort of inside presence. That was able to create some momentum for him throughout the second and third, but all that really did was get him back into the game because of the deficit they put themselves in, and they just didn't take care of the details, especially the turnovers, so it was hard to overcome those issues. There were too many careless passes, even with a couple coming in their own half. There were unnecessary offensive fouls, or just them losing the rock on drives, and a lot of them came from Austin. Those basically summarize his entire series, because he struggled to ever get anything easy against the Wolves' defensive pressure, so he never found a rhythm at all, but those were just their problems on that end of the floor, and the other was even worse. The obvious one was the Wolves' O-boards, because their entire team has free reign to crash, and it's already hard enough for the Lakers to try to make up for their size disadvantage, let alone trying to track all the players on the perimeter, so they were feasting on those. If anything, they could have converted more than they did, and a lot of it was just Rudy and the dunker, because it was damn near impossible for Rui, Braun, or Vandal to try to box him out, so he took full advantage for constant putbacks. But as I said after Game 2, I still thought they could have used him even more, because the Lakers were only playing small, and even though they did find him a lot more for drop-offs, lobs, rolls, or cuts, they could have easily been up at least 20 by the end of the first half if they didn't just settle from deep. The Lakers' rotations were atrocious in their zone, or whenever they sold on Ant up top, so all they had to do was attack closeouts to exploit that backside advantage, because the Lakers had no first line or rim protection on the second line, and whenever they did, it was an easy 2, whistle, or cleanup from Rudy every time. At least Julius was smart enough to recognize that, so he was in attack mode the entire second half, and it didn't matter if it was a mismatch or not, because he was making a timely bucket every time he got downhill or in the post. Him and Rudy basically kept him afloat with their size, so that compensated for their atrocious shooting night, and it even bought just enough time for Ant to come around with the finishing touches down the wire. All he had to do was on Luka, and this was the third straight game he out-executed the Lakers' big three in the fourth, but more importantly, this was the second straight year he sent another big three to Cancun in the first round, so he's basically Randy Orton at this point. Just watch the tape.
Drives, feed, Conley, three, good!